Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Paz, a rising VTuber and an artist, and today we're gonna be working on a short comic that I've been meaning to get back into making comics. I haven't had a chance to do it just yet. But I've been making movements behind the scenes, for example, like the this what do you call what would you call this template that I showed off on Saturday. That's part of it. This one's just to help me figure out what these little lines mean. CSP has a very useful function where it creates lines for you to show you where the comic will be cut off and where the kind of main body of the text is supposed to go. And also these ones up here, which are supposed to be the middle vertical and the middle horizontal. All very useful, but we will be kind of eschewing those for the time being. So let's kind of just get started, right? I do have an idea. So the cool thing about me being the one authoring the comics this time. Previously, I've worked with my friend Raph on making comics, and that was a lot of fun. It took a while, but we did get 2 issues done. But yeah, the cool thing about being the one kind of driving the process this time is that I more or less know what everything is supposed to look like. And that makes things just a lot faster. Actually, we don't even really need the square. We can use the line as reference. So let's start working on the sketches for page 1. I don't even I kind of forgotten how to do this because I can see where the borders are supposed to be. Maybe we should bring in a line here. Or actually, what might help as well. Hang on. Layer frame border folder. Yeah, what might help as well is if we just start with the proper frame border that we want from the beginning. Okay, I more or less know how this is supposed to go. This first panel is going to be a little bit longer. Actually, I want... The other thing is that now I can make... I can also make changes to the layout on the fly, which is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, it'll look something like this. Could we... Hang on. I don't know if it would look better if I brought this in line with... Yeah, no, I'm gonna bring this a little bit further out. The other useful thing as well is that I can also start with the text, which is going to be helpful for determining just how much I need to draw. Okay. Yeah, this'll do. Actually, I do think I'm going to make this one down here a blank, kind of void panel. Or actually, no, maybe another one. I think my paneling is definitely what's going to need the most work out of pretty much anything. The BGM seems to be a little bit low today. We could probably raise that a tiny bit. Anyway, let's start with the dialogue. Again, it's helpful to start with the dialogue, I feel like, because that way the That's a very interesting color that it has. That way you can kind of cut corners around where the dialogue bubble is supposed to go. Not where that's supposed to go. There we go. All right, font size 12, Pacific, I guess, is going to be the one that we use. Pacific regular. Seems a bit little small. We can bump that up to maybe 14. Nice. I've recently become a big fan of making these kind of speech bubbles that are kind of flatter on the edges and don't really look too round. I don't know, something about them just feels much more stable. I do think I'm also gonna make this just a tiny bit bigger. Can we make the font 15? Do we dare? Yeah, 15 seems to be fine. Okay, there we go. And the fun part about this is that the rest of these are most of the speech bubbles on this page are either going to be these round bubbles or they're going to be text boxes. So a little bit more like this. So a lot of the pages of this comic are going to be this sort of flashback that the character in question is talking about. Let's see. And a lot of it is not just going to be. A lot of it isn't actually the story of how he fell in love, but actually kind of a story related to how he fell in love, or related in the process of that. So it's all a little silly. Hey, Leah, how you doing? How are you doing on this fine Sunday evening? I forgot I left your stream on and had my headphones off. I was like, who is this man talking? What the? It's me, boy, the PS5 talking to you from inside your brain. Listen to me. I thought the voices were whispering to me. About making comics? That's rough. And although that would be pretty funny. So how did you get into making comics? Oh, and it's like a circle conference at like an artist meet, and it's like, oh, me? I've loved comics since I was a kid. The other guy's like, well, I tried it out after going for an illustration degree that didn't really work out. And then the third person is like, it was whispered to me in my dreams by my subconsciousness, like some kind of mad Greek prophet. I am Diogenes, and this thing is like. Actually, no. Diogenes wasn't really a prophet. His whole thing was being a dickhead who lived in a jug of wine. That shit would run you crazy rent in New York. Also, sorry for not wishing you a happy birthday and Merry Christmas. This month has been non-existent. How have you been? I've been doing well as well. You also, I think you also had a birthday this year. I do remember sending you a well wishes. I think. I'm almost certain that I did. If I didn't, happy birthday to you as well. We are twins. Right, yours was on the 3rd. December babies. Yeah, that's right. I don't know what to improvise our text here. You and me together make Mulita's birthday. she's our like Dragon Ball Fusion combined form. we do that like finger touching thing dance thingy, and we turn into Mulita. I don't know what to write for this particular bubble. I'm just gonna move on to the bigger bubble down here. I need something for the text in those two right there. I'll figure that out some other time. Okay. Slice this down. And grab this one, then bring it down here. What'd you do for Christmas? Did you relax? I did end up relaxing quite a bit, actually. I ended up making myself I bought some duck meat from a nearby supermarket, and I made myself roasted duck in the oven. Really good. I did have a lot of leftovers, so there was like a substantial amount of duck meat. Let's go, Duck Nation! Jupiter, my goat, how are you doing? How was your year in review for the games? Give them to me. They've already been promised to like a sandwich that I'm making myself sometime tomorrow, I fear. Can I get a piece? They've all been spoken for. You know what? I can split the sandwiches though. I can make sandwiches and then we can go splitsies on them. We can all have a few bites of sandwich. So many games that they didn't fit. Hashtag gamer. Jupiter, we must commit sandwich heist. God. The sandwich heist is just that we have the sandwich split up, and you just ask, yo, can I get a bite from my piece? And I'm like, sure. And that's the full extent of the sandwich heist. Y'all remember that one Vine that was like, hey, can I get some ice cream? Sure, but only a spoonful. And then they brought out that huge Dark Souls-sized spoons. I feel like it's been long enough that I can now finally let go of Vine, but some of them still pop up here and there. Right? Okay. And now we can get started on the sketch for this. I thought that I wouldn't have that much organization to stream. I planned backup RPGs, but instead I have at least a couple hundred left. Whew. Images, not RPGs. Okay. I'm like hundreds of RPGs. I'm imagining some dude who has played like every single Dragon Quest game in existence just salivating. Oh yeah, I've also switched from a pure dark gray color to this kind of greenish dark gray. Or I guess it'd just be dark green at this point, huh? Because I've heard that apparently green is supposed to relax your eyes. I do want to make my brush just a tiny bit thicker so it shows up better. Big old pants. Very polite little sitting cross-legged. Something that the playthrough of Bloodstained has really inspired me to do is to think harder about like the body language that I use for some of my characters. Because something that I've noticed for Miriam's character animation that I really love is that a lot of it is very ladylike. like there was that one scene where you rode through the carriage, where you rode on the back of that carriage. She was sitting so politely. And I'm like, that is some very good character animation. It has a lot of personality behind it, even though it's just a simple thing. Okay, and then turn the head a tiny bit this way. Perhaps you ever remember that you have free will? It is a constant sort of pressure to me, yeah. Like, sometimes I'll be on my bed, or like I'll be fucking around on my phone, right? Not really doing much, or just wasting time doom scrolling. And at this point, I will be like, you have limited amount of time to Earth. You have time, but you need to hurry. And that shit will, like, jolt me awake. And sometimes it'll motivate you to move, but not always. So I'll just kind of sit there, kind of realizing that I'm running out of time, but not really doing much about it. I think that's anxiety. Well, I don't know what to say to that. It might be, sure. I'm not a psychologist, I'm a bag of rice. I was thinking of like how this guy was like, I remember I have free will, and he stood in public and farted. That's certainly an exercise of it. I would not be, you know, that's definitely valid. Having the freedom to commit evil is also a type of freedom. Not your time doom. I mean, there are times when I do just have like this thing where it's like, well, who's really gonna stop me? I went to the store the other day and some lady got in a cart and rode it, and I was like, oh yeah, you can just do that. I do have a more positive version of it where sometimes I'll be like, well, fuck it, why shouldn't I do this right now? It'll be like a burst of spontaneity. Like that also counts, I think. But yeah, there's really nothing stopping you from doing some crazy stuff sometimes. Other than whatever social mores you ascribe to. But even then, those are pretty flexible in some situations. The one that is absolutely, completely, and universally true is that you should not play music videos or video media out loud on the phone, on loudspeaker, on the bus, or on public transportation. If you do that, you will be sent to hell immediately by none other than myself. But yeah, I'd like to learn more about different types of body language. Because of how it can help communicate more about a character's personality. Or not even personality. It just adds so much more umami to the character itself. But yeah, the old lady writing on the shopping cart, huh? Do you mean the thing where you stand on the back of the shopping cart and just let the shopping cart go, or did she get into the basket? Oh, okay, yeah, nice. Okay, good to know. Because one of them is kind of like a fun little recollection of something endearing that you do as a child. The other thing is, well, unless you have like an accomplice there with you, it's a little bit difficult to pull it off. I feel like I made the torso too small. Hang on. Getting in the basket is too much work. Not with these knees. Yeah, I guess in addition to the social limitation, there is also very much a physical limitation in some regards. Chopping this guy up like he's some kind of Exodia piece. There we go. Also, I thought you were going to play a game. That was yesterday, I think. I mean, we could play a game? Oh, shoot, wait, did I update the... Ah, shoot, I did not update the stream information. Hang on, let me do that. Let me update that real quick. Comic work. Short comic manuscript drafting. Change from Bloodstained Ritual of the Night to art. Good thing I asked. Yeah, no. Otherwise, we would have been 3 hours deep and you'd be like, man, this is a long-ass stream. When are we getting to the game? That was me for real. Yeah, no, I'm glad you asked. I'm just gonna add a couple of things here and there. Actually, I'm gonna remove the arrow, but I might add a... like a broken staff over here. I'm also gonna lift the shoulders up a little bit more, so it's kind of weird. Usually when the shoulders are high up like that, it looks very tense, but when it's in this sitting down position like this, it almost looks kind of relaxed. I'm also gonna change the expression a little bit. Let me put the nose lower. Okay, and then this is going to be the younger version of the same character. Oh yeah, have you thought about any New Year's resolutions? I don't really think of those very often. In terms of what's happening this year, I do have a lot of plans, so I guess I want to be able to fulfill those obligations. None of the plans are particularly fun, though. I'm kind of taking this year on as a mulligan, if I'm being honest. Like if I manage to fulfill some kind of ambition this year, fantastic. If not, well, whatever. Okay, then this is gonna go like this. As for the jacket, I kind of want to make it look like a sort of warehouse worker's jacket. I don't know if I want to make it like a one of those high visibility vest ones, though. There we go. This thing is called a Conti suit. I don't know if that I don't know what a Conti is. Maybe they misspelled Cunty. Conti suit. Conti suits, also known as boiler suits. The Conti suit. Hang on. Conti suit, wing safety. Conti suit. Is it one word instead of two words? Hang on. I see other parts of it. I see it in other... Hang on. What is a Conti suit? Here we go. Supply SA trading. What are Conti suits and how do they protect you on the job? This looks like edifying media. In environments where a single misstep could lead to serious injury, the right protective gear isn't just recommended, it's essential. For employees in various industries, this gear can make all the difference between a daily routine and a potential hazard. One of the most versatile and dependable pieces of workwear is the Conti suit, a one-piece workwear and pants combination that offers numerous functionalities, prioritizing safety and comfort. Mira tú. Okay, yeah, I kind of got an idea for what I want it to look like now. I love this outfit, the Conti suit. I do like the idea of it having reflective tape on the arms for whatever reason. I also want it to look a little bit oversized. I feel like that's the best way of making it look like he is younger is to make it very obvious that the clothes he's wearing are just do not quite fit yet. Also, maybe making the shoulders a little narrower as well. Okay. Yeah, like for example, the sleeves will be rolled up a little bit here. I do also think he'll have like bags under his eyes though. I do appreciate boiler suits for being weirdly comfortable in spite of the fact that they're not supposed to be. Like I've dabbled in wearing a boiler suit a couple times. They are surprisingly comfortable. As for the undershirt, hmm. May also make the undershirt look a little bit oversized. It doesn't really give a scruffy look because everything looks just ginormous on him. I'm also going to put the pockets and the placement of the hands a little bit lower, again, just to emphasize how big the jacket is on him. Maybe something we can do is, for example, put a patch here where they're supposed to be elbow patches, but because it's very big on him, they kind of reach up to his forearm, and he has to roll up the sleeves to get to the rest. I'm gonna have to look now. I have a few audiobooks I need to burn through. It was nice chatting with you. No worries. Thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you stopped by. Thanks, Liev. I hope you enjoy your audiobooks. God, there was one phase in when I was a kid when I really loved just wearing ridiculously oversized clothes. Little did I know that that was like my secret David Byrne era. I had no way of knowing that was what that was gonna be. I might make this one just a tiny bit bigger, but move the speech bubbles around a little bit. Ooh, that's really close though. Yeah, no, I'm gonna make the speech bubbles just a tiny bit smaller. I'm gonna decrease the font size to 14. The thing with text in CSP is that you can do a lot with it, but it is a little bit annoying to handle from time to time. Although I do think putting him over here would be best, just so I can put like a title card or something right here in the over in the right. I'm also gonna put one of those spiky maces, a morning star, I think they're called, over here. I'm going to try. I'm gonna have to have a little bit of a think about the expression I want for this page. The hair ornaments for this character always mess me up a little bit because they're supposed to look a little bit like a sort of diadem, but it's a little bit annoying to draw since it's just a bunch of tiny spikes put together. I think I wanted like a sort of very focused looking expression. Okay, there we go. I also have to think a little bit more about her outfit while I'm off screen because the warehouse worker jacket was easy enough to figure out, but hang on. I need to extend the lapel on this a little bit again. Again, this jacket is supposed to fit someone maybe at most at their belt line. To him, it goes like past his pocket line. Let's see. Maybe I can hold it a little bit lower. I forgot if there was an easy way to draw a sort of braided thing. I guess you can just go really quickly like this. I'm trying to experiment a little bit with this comic in terms of my end style. Like right now, I feel like I'm doing way too much in terms of detail. I need to slow down a little bit. Actually, I think a good decision would be to make this character one of the ones that I'm going to use, later. How do I put this? So, you guys know Osamu Tezuka, right? He had a very interesting idea with something that with some of the thing that he did with his characters that he called the star system, which was that he would actually reuse a lot of the same secondary character faces across his works, but give them different names and different roles. It was almost like they were actors that were cast in different stories at different times. So, very similar to that, I want to may not create like consistent background characters, but it's good to recycle, I guess is the best way to put it. Like if there is a character that I have an idea of their role for in terms of like a greater story, but they're not going to show up yet, why not just throw them in there in like one of the background scenes? Fuck it, why not? Everything is connected. There we go. Something about the placement of the arms doesn't seem right. Let me rework this part here. But yeah, one of the examples that I want to show in this case is, hang on. Should I make this like a scroll? Like I was gonna just make it a normal piece of paper, but I think having it be, hang on, this brings up an interesting point. What were the different forms of like keeping information on an easy to access format back in like ancient times? Because I want this to be kind of retro futuristic in that there's like medieval technology running around with like modern technology as well. Or like medieval methodology with like the modern technological aesthetic. Hang on, so like parchment is a good one. Parchment Wikipedia. Made from specially prepared untanned skins of animals. Vellum is a finer quality parchment made from the skins of young animals, right? Parchment and vellum, history. Replace the use of papyrus, which had become monopolized by the rival city of Alexandria. Treatments, manufacture, additional uses of the item. Hang on, further reading or writing media. Here we go. Bamboo and wooden slips, maybe. Banana leaf, perhaps. Betula utensils. What, like Fatum Betula? The Betula utilis, the Himalayan birch, is a deciduous tree. Utilis means useful and refers to the many uses of the different parts of the tree. Huh. Wait, so then... Hang on. I never actually thought to look up what Fatum Betula meant. Oh, it means birch of fate. Or fate birch. Okay. Anyway, back to the writing things. What's a cloth? A designation given to a particular piece of skin. On your body or like drawdown chart. Rectangular pieces of non-fluorescent paper which are used to test for a variety of coding properties. Oh. What? Drawdown chart. Let me take a look at this. This isn't... Drawdown is also a term used in finance, although I don't really remember that. A variety of coding properties. What else we got? Palimpsest. A manuscript page either from a scroll or a book. Okay, we can use that. A mokan. Wooden tablets found at Japanese archaeological sites. We can use that. Rice writing? Oh, hell. Oh. It's writing on a piece of rice. It's not using rice to write. I see. A sand table might be the one. A slate might also be the one. Tire lettering. Molding visible letters on the sidewall of an automobile's tires. Used for car brands of the brand names. Okay, yep. A wax tablet might be fun. Ostrakon. A piece of pottery broken off from vase or earthenware vessel. Okay. So it's just writing on any old thing you can get your hands on, huh? What's a potsherd? A fragment of pottery. Specialized usage sherd is preferred over the more common spelling shard, where sherd refers to ceramic and shard to glass. I didn't know that. That's very cool. A designation given to a particular piece of skin. The Talmudic definition includes both the form of the skin and the way it is processed, in particular in that it must be tanned. Ah, okay. So it's like the Jewish method for making parchment. I see. Interesting. Okay. Palimpsest. Okay, it is a manuscript page from a scroll or book from which the text has been scraped or washed off in preparation for reuse. Huh, okay. So you'd scrape off the previous writing and then... Okay, right. You can see a little bit of that here. Like originally okay, that would look really hard to read, actually. The best-known palimpsest of the legal world was discovered in 1816 by Niebuhr and Savigny in the library of Verona Cathedral. Underneath letters by St. Jerome and Gennadius was the almost complete text of the Institutes of Gaius, probably the first student's textbook on Roman law. Sending letters to your Bessie using your old textbook pages. We've all been there. The Sanaa palimpsest is one of the oldest Quranic manuscripts in existence. Carbon dating of the parchment assigns a date somewhere between 671 with a probability of 99%. Given that Surah 9, one of the last revealed chapters, is present and assuming the likely possibility that the undertext was written shortly after the preparation of the parchment, it was probably written relatively shortly, 10 to 40 years, after the death of the Islamic prophet Muhammad. The undertext differs from the standard Quranic text and is therefore the most important documentary evidence for the existence of variant Quranic readings. That's neat. Is there like more modern ones, or is there... What's a pentimento? The presence of emergence of an earlier image, form, or stroke that have been painted over. Huh. Cool. You know, if you think about it, in certain ways, we still have this to some extent in the form of metadata and things like that. The palimpsests do still exist. Okay, mokan. Wooden tablets found at Japanese archaeological sites. Most of the tablets date from the mid-7th to mid-8th century, but some are as late as the modern period. Huh, okay. The mokan are written in classical Chinese, but many are written in Old Japanese, demonstrating that literacy was widespread in the late 7th century. The texts are typically short and more informal than the poetry liturgies that make up the main corpus of Old Japanese. Huh. That does seem to be just like old little text messages, basically. A sand table uses constrained sand for modeling or educational purposes. The original version of a sand table may be the abax used by early Greek students. In the modern era, one common use for a sand table is to make terrain models for planning and wargaming. Huh. Okay, commonly used by students to perform studies such as writing, geometry, and calculations. The abax was the predecessor to the abacus. Objects such as stones were added for counting and then columns for the place-valued arithmetic. The demarcation between an abax and an abacus seems to be poorly defined in history. Moreover, modern definitions of the word abacus universally describe it as a frame with rods and beads, and, in general, do not include the definition of a sand table. Huh. An Arabic word for sand or dust is gubar, and Western numerals are derived from the style of digits written on gubar tables in Northwest Africa and Iberia, also described as a West Arabic or gubar style. What's we got here? Marines view a sand table model of the operating area of the exercise desert punch constructed on the desert floor near Yuma, Arizona. This seems cool, but it's not something that we can use. Like, this would definitely be used in another place in this universe, but not as for the purposes that I'm trying now. The writing slate consists of a piece of slate, typically either 4 by 6 inches or 7 by 10, encased in a wooden frame. Split slate was prepared by scraping with a steel edge, grinding with a flat stone, and, finally, polishing with a mix of slate powder and water. Pencils were of a softer stone, such as shale, chalk, or soapstone. Okay. Usually a piece of cloth or slate sponge was used to clean it, and this was sometimes attached with a string to the bottom of the writing slate. Okay. I do like the wax tablets. So, out of all the different things, these are my favorites. So a wax tablet is a tablet made of wood and covered with a layer of wax, often linked loosely to a cover tablet as a double-leaved diptych. It was used as a reusable and portable writing surface in antiquity. Okay. Wax tablets were used for a variety of purposes, from taking down students' or secretaries' notes to recording business accounts. I wonder if it was possible to make because wax is not exactly permanent, right? Like, broadly speaking, unless it's a very hot day, wax will retain its shape pretty well. Okay, ivory hinge. 2 wax tablets made of ivory. Folding pair of wax tablets along with a leather scroll in the mid-8th century. Okay. In the first millennium BC, writing tablets were in use in Mesopotamia as well as Syria and southern Levant. An example of a wax tablet book are the servitude records which the hospital of Austria's oldest city, Inns, established in 1500. 10 wooden plates, and arranged in a 90mm stack, are each divided into 2 halves along their long axis. The annual payables are written on parchment or paper glued to the left sides. Payables received were recorded for deduction on the respective right sides, which are covered with a brownish-black writing wax. The material is based on beeswax and contains 5 to 10% plant oils and carbon pigments. Its melting point is about 65 degrees Celsius. Used for high-volume business records of transient importance until the 19th century. Okay. So wait, what would have scrolls in ancient China have been made of? I guess they would have used bamboo and wooden slips, right? More than scrolls. I think I have a bias. I think I'm too wuxia brained to remember that they used wooden slips more often than scrolls. It does seem like the bamboo slips were more durable than we would expect, though. The custom of interring books made of the durable bamboo strips in royal tombs has preserved many works in their original forms through the centuries. An important early find was the Jijong discovery in 279 AD in the tomb of King Wei, though the original recovered slips have yet disappeared. Several caches of great importance have been found in recent years. Okay. Papyrus, different ways of cutting papyrus stems and making papyrus sheet. Yo, that's kind of awesome, actually. I really like that. It reminds me a little bit of the of that infinity triangle. What's it called? The It had a specific name. It's not Sierpinski because Sierpinski is like the triangle within triangles. The Penrose. It's called the Penrose. The Penrose triangle. Thank you, Signalis. Let's see. Clay tablets. Amate. Amate. What's amate? It is a type of bank bark paper that has been manufactured in Mexico since the pre-contact times. It was made primarily to create codices. Ah, mira tú. There is some uncertainty as to whether or not the Mesoamerican paper can be considered true paper, owing to the thorough deconstruction of their civilization by the Spanish. The Maya used a writing material called hun, starting from the 5th century. It was made from the inner bark of the wild fig tree. It was cut and stretched thin rather than made of randomly woven fibers, which according to the one source disqualified it as true paper. The Maya made codices out of hun. The Toltecs and Aztecs also had their own form of paper. The Aztec amate was used for writing decorations, rituals, and as material for masks. Aztec paper, like Maya paper, is not considered true paper by some. Like its predecessors, it was made from the inner bark of a wild fig tree, beaten, stretched, and dried. They do that to me at my workplace. There are also records of paper made from agave, which was coarse and bumpy, and was probably used for purposes other than writing. Okay. Oh wow, they had a bark paper tunic too. Looks like it was tough stuff. Okay, I think I've kind of gotten a handle on it. If not possessing paper, then what would a Mayan rap about? That's a good question. I don't know much about Maya culture. I forgot like what their most valuable possessions were. I guess I could still rap about having fine honeys on their side, but honestly, without it does feel a little bit lonely if it's just like one thing that you have to brag about. You know, even if that thing is of vital importance. Anyway, this is all to say that I'm going to make part of this a double wax tablet. And this is going to have the stylus pen on its side. I'm going to maybe shrink this down a tiny bit. True Mesoamerican ball game metaphors. God. You know, something that I have been wanting to try for a while is actually Inca Cola. I didn't really get a chance to try it while I was in Ecuador, or if I have, I've forgotten how it tastes. So I'd like to try it again, since V and David both hype it up so frequently. So I think what we're gonna have here is a kind of double whammy of old school like dot printer paper. And the wax tablet. I do love the idea of making this woman just simply humongous. Also, I am going back to the discussion of the star system. One person that I am going to put back here is going to be. Remember how I had that idea of a reincarnation for Pabs? Like I was talking about like if you had to rebrand, what would it be like? One of the guys that I had was this dude. I'm gonna put him in there. Why not? Perfectly good character design. Don't want to let it go to waste. This isn't exactly what you said, Jupiter, but the idea of the phrase "the Mesoamerican baller" is kind of awesome as a concept. True Mesoamerican ballers, no. I do think that in order to make this guy fit in a little bit better. Hang on. First we're gonna need to make this head a little bit smaller. But yeah, I like the idea of like of the combination of having the printed dot matrix computer printer paper for more permanent data, and then the wax tablet for just like one-off calculations. Okay, then back here. What does the rest of this dude's shirt look like? I might remove those stripes and simplify the design a tiny bit. Me when I'm in a Head and Shoulders competition, and my coworker is the gigantic woman at my workplace who dwarfs me. Hmm. Okay, here's what I might do, actually. I'm going to rearrange some of this text. So I'm going to put this speech bubble here, actually in this panel, and then just cut down on the dialogue. I'm gonna drink some water real quick. Hang on. Okay. Make this just a tiny bit smaller, and then just put it a little lower. Hang on. Yeah, I might move some of the dialogue to from page 2 to page 1 here. There we go. Does that look weird? I feel like it's squeezing to the right a little bit, so maybe we can try and center it a little bit more. Okay, let me just grab this speech bubble, or this text box, actually. I might move the... Actually, no. We should keep this the same size, just so that the text box is big enough to accommodate all those words. I do want it to look a little bit like he is genuinely tweaking from realizing he has a crush. I don't know. I think that's the funniest reaction you can have to realizing you're in love. Yeah, nostrils flared. Eyes bugging the fuck out. I want this guy to look like he thinks he's dying because of his crush. Hmm. But yeah, definitely kind of like clutching his chest thinking he has a heart attack kind of thing. I do think eyebrows raise is better than eyebrows down. Oh my god, with like a Muppet expression, that would be perfect. Okay, then over here we can do the collar as normal. And the lapel. I feel like he needs to be smaller in the panel for this to be maximally funny. With maybe his heart coming from out behind here. Hang on, transform, mesh transformation. There we go. There we go. Okay, and then we can just kind of copy and paste what's over in this panel. Back down here. Perfect. I do think he does need to look a little bit more wide-eyed in this frame, since I feel like that would be the best match for what he's saying. I do think, however, that I should tilt him a little bit more to the side so that it looks a little, not only different from the top layer, but also so that it looks a little bit more relaxed. Something about the smile is also throwing me off. It looks a little bit dishonest. I think having the mouth closed fits the expression a little bit better. Maybe the mouth needs to be open a little bit wider. If I could maybe turn the expression a little bit to the right. Maybe moving the elbow in just a tiny bit over here. Maybe making him a little bit bigger again. And actually what I might do is that I might remove the hand over here, and then I might have it up here. Just in a, like, yeah, that's the way it is kind of hand gesture. I kind of wanted to include some panels showing that the person that he fell in love with did actually like him back to some extent, but I think it's funnier if I leave it ambiguous, especially given the punchline that I'm cooking. Okay, and this one is going to be of a hand holding a mirror. Definitely smaller than that, I think. Probably even smaller than that. Not quite how the perspective is supposed to work, I think. Okay, and then shrink this down. And then have the huge ass sleeve from the warehouse jacket. Maybe turning the direction just a little bit differently, like maybe like that. Nice. All right. Okay, this would be using... Hang on. I'm gonna do this with the way that we would look at it, and then I'm just gonna mirror it. Okay. And then we just flip this and then put it into the mirror. And then kind of similar, but that. And then we just add the other hand holding out the mirror. Okay, there we go. And then we can do the same thing and just put the other face over here. We're also going to need to skew the image a little bit on this side. There we go. And that should do it for page 1's sketch. Now we can make another page. Second verse, same as the first. So start with the layer border with a border folder, and then slice it up, and then add the text. That sounds about right. All right, then let's do it like that. Layer frame border folder, and just start cutting it up. And what I might do for this panel here is that I might just remove the border. Again, just so that it's a little bit clear when the character is talking in the flashback or not. I might also lower the hand and the mouth on this panel. And make them a little bit smaller. Okay. And now we can add the text. Wrong layer. Oh wait, actually we wouldn't need this kind of word balloon. We would need the squarish one. And we also need to set the text size back to 14. Okay, shrink this down a little bit more. Okay, then over here, same deal. And I think something that we can do real quick over here is that instead of having this full panel, we can actually shrink it down just a tiny bit. That's not what I meant to do with that. That's more like it. Nope. Try again. There we go. How do I select only this one? There we go. I've gotten rusty with some of the panel operation tools, but I think I've still got it in a lot of regards. I'm still with it, as the kids say. There we go. And just having that will help it become more obvious that some time is passing between this panel and the next panel. Hmm. What should I say for this time? For this box? The only person who... ended up answering me. from my job, I guess you'd say, not my workplace. Actually, I think for this one we would go with a proper speech bubble. Or actually maybe a combination. Should I cut it off here? No, let's risk it for the biscuit. Whoops, didn't mean to erase the whole thing. Hang on. I think what I can do is I can probably rearrange the text in this bubble to be more vertical. Okay, move this to the left. Perfect. I'm gonna drink some more water. Okay. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm the one. I know there don't have to be any edits from someone else. It really does feel much more easygoing compared to making Hawk Sterling. This hand needs to be much smaller and much more off to the side. Good. I had to mute there because I sneezed. My bad. Okay. And then We can have the sleeve kind of hanging out over here. He looks a little bit, you know, younger Roland looks a little bit like Wyborn from Coraline. I think that's pretty funny. Hmm. There we go. I guess it's kind of like the beta design for younger Haze as well. I haven't really thought a lot about what the young version of Haze would look like. Maybe the ponytail will hang downward rather than upward. I think he'd still wear a lot of clothing that would show off his arms a lot. So maybe at this kind of stage of the game, he'd be, or this kind of stage, he'd be wearing like a singlet or something. I don't know. What's kind of like a youthful looking? Maybe some kind. Is there like a basketball jersey that would look good on this guy? Hang on, sleeveless basketball jersey. Oh yeah, these totally exist. They look a little bit different than I expected though. But I can work with this. I think in this case, it would definitely be that expression where, like, cocked to the side of, like, what is this guy talking about? I don't know. I want to make. I need like a mirror or something just so I can hold it up to my own face. Maybe that's something else that I should invest in. I recently dropped a rather large amount of money on some home improvement purchases, all of which I am convinced will make my life a lot easier. But maybe I should have invested in a small mirror for my desk too. I don't know. I feel like after a while that would be. I need to make it like a silly mirror though, because like otherwise, I would like catch a glimpse of my own wary, tired expression in the mirror, and I'd be like, oh man, I look bummed as hell. But you know, if it's like a stupid mirror or like one of those tiny, like a tiny version of those funhouse mirrors, it'd be a little bit like that one Chris Hemsworth gif where he's like in like a spoon or something, where he's looking at himself in the reflection of like a weird metal part. Hang on, Chris Hemsworth reflection gif. Was it not Chris Hemsworth? It might not have been Chris Hemsworth. Come on, it has to be somewhere around here. There's that one from that one music video. But not the one that I'm looking for. Guy looking at reflection silly gif. No, none of these are quite what I'm looking for. That's a shame. Guy looking at tiny reflection. This is not improving. There's even one from Mulan. Or actually, maybe that'll be a good one. Or maybe it's just kind of like an open mouth, like, phase, you know? Like somewhere around here, like I'm trying to like Mr. Potato Head his mouth so I can understand the best place to place it. I guess normally you wouldn't be able to see the bottom row of teeth if you're just like keeping around with your mouth open, huh? I do just want this guy to look like he's mouth breathing, though. Hang on, maybe if I flip the canvas, it'll help. Okay, it didn't help give me any clues about the expression, but it did let me know that I need to move his eye a little bit closer in. What's like a good... I don't know, I kind of want to have like a loading icon over this guy's head, but I don't know what's a good one to have in like a static... Hang on, static loading icon. Ah, screw it. I'll just add a load. I'll just add a normal loading spinner somewhere in there. Something like this. Where'd it go? There it is. I do want to give the impression that this guy's a little bit dim. I do want to give this guy like kind of major Japanese delinquent vibes. You know, rolling his R's and all that. That's true. Maybe I should make his hair less loose in this particular frame. Also, I need to put his head a little bit lower, and maybe a little bit smaller too, just so that it fits in with the previous frame or panel. I'm going to use frame and panel interchangeably because now I make the rules. Actually, hang on. What if I flipped his face around? No, not quite what I mean. So, like... There we go. I want to make him be able to show a little bit of gum, just to show that's how angry he is. I think the gums might be a bit much. I think the funniest part is that this guy... I don't know what's funnier. I do think that having the guy who's telling the story be something of an unreliable narrator might be a little bit not as interesting as just having him be able to tell a plain truth. But I do think that it'd be funny if like he's like the unreliable narrator in terms of like I thought I did the right thing, and like he really did think he did the right thing, but like the people he contacted were absolutely the wrong ones at each turn. Like this guy was just the last person he should have asked, and he was the first. I don't know what kind of expression this should be. Hang on. Oh, I see what happened. I accidentally turned on the ruler for these 4 panels back here. Hang on, let me just... There we go. Perfect, there we go. That should stop any further problems from happening. Just kind of shearing off the shoulders there. God, I remember there was this one bit from The Simpsons that somehow, for some reason, does keep popping up, at least from the circles that I run in, where a doctor holds up a frame like this and shows it to somebody so that they can see their reflection, but the reflection is but the frame is empty. So when they look through the frame, they just see the doctor's face, and the doctor punches them through the frame. It's just kind of hilarious. All right, then over here. I wonder how I can make him look like droopy. You know what I mean? Like he's a little bit deflated. Maybe I could do something with the hair. Actually, come to think of it, isn't there like a black hairstyle type that uses heat to like do something to the hair? Hang on. Lighter treatment. Hang on, light treatment for eczema. Okay, yeah, no, that's a different thing. No, that's for lightening the hair. Heat and chemical damage to afro hair. Hair caught on fire. Heat damaged hair. Velaterapia. That might be it. But yeah, no, it's just for hair damaged by heat mostly. Is there like literal fire hair treatment? Hang on. Beauty salon fire hair treatment. Okay, yeah, no, that is Velaterapia again. Alright, check this out. I don't know if that's gonna load up. Hello? There we go. A fire cut is an interesting and truly extraordinary procedure which, despite its name, does not mean an actual haircut as one might imagine. It involves a special treatment without changing either the length or shape of the hair. Fire cut hair treatment has numerous synonyms. In hair salons, you might see it also called Velaterapia hair treatment, fire hair treatment, but the essence of the procedure is always the same. Giving the hair a healthy look and restoring its structure by using fire to burn split ends and seal the cuticles. Okay. I wonder if there's a Wikipedia page for it. Do not try doing fire cut treatment at home. I wasn't planning to do that. Personally, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there is some maniac who's like, yeah, light me up. La terapia Wikipedia. Huh. Yeah, no, but this mostly seems to be for like straight hair rather than curly hair. So I think that's out. I was gonna say I could change up the hairstyle a little bit based on that heat treatment, but it looks like it's just universally damaging to black hair. I bring that up mainly because the guy that got angry uses fire as the basis for his fighting style. Okay, and then we can have the ponytail kind of going behind him like this. Okay, and then over here. I need to move this hand a little bit further down here, just so I can make a straight line here. Or maybe it does need to be further out, hang on. Then over here. Should I foreshorten the other arm a little more? I feel like that would be prudent. I feel like I've been drawing more fire recently because of the... because of the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night thumbnail from this week's stream. I feel like I draw fire pretty well, though, so I'm not particularly angry. All right. I want to have like the very end of this dude's ponytail lit up in a wick. Like this is very much like an instant defeat kind of situation for the other guy. Okay, just a tiny bit of tricep there. Definitely kind of like with the booty up, I think. I want this guy to look a little bit humiliated, basically. Insane back arc. And zero ass, because I hate him. Okay, just make size this one down. May put this half of the head a little bit lower. Okay, and then make the big sleeve back here. I might actually... hang on. Let me just grab everything here. And transport it to a different layer. Okay, mix this around, and then just make it a little bit more vertical. I have an idea for how to fix this. Hang on. I think I've also accidentally made Roland a little too big down here. Or up there, I think. Okay, then over here. There we go. And we should also give Hayes back here a huge bump on his head. Just to indicate that he got the shit kicked out of him. Maybe a little bit of blood down here, too. Hmm. Okay, then for the rest of the hair, we can just go over here. We should probably shrink down his head a little bit, because the hair takes up so much of the panel space. Maybe even smaller than that, even. Hmm. Okay, for this guy, I don't know what his design would be. I think I'm going to give him a very similar jacket to Roland's, but his actually fits, and also it does. I think he just straight up does not wear a shirt. There we go. Okay. I can't forget to add the little safety line stripes to Roland's jacket. I feel like that's gonna be my new version of like forgetting. I used to remember I used to forget a lot of like a very specific detail on some of the Hawk Sterling pages, but I don't remember which one it was. I think it was the thigh holster. That definitely feels right. Did the jacket have any front pockets? No, just the ones on the bottom. Also, this dude is supposed to be ripped. Or maybe I should make him like more of like the strongman kind of fat. I don't know. Okay, and then shrink this down. I like that he's like saying like Yahoo, how you doing? Okay, and then whoops. Let's try that differently. Yeah, no, this definitely looks like some kind of weird shirt. I need to remember how to draw abs. Or again, go for the strongman body type, but I don't remember how to draw that off the top of my head. Alright, I think that should do it for today. We are pretty far into the stream. Let's just save and page 2 sketch one shot. I think we've done some good progress. We've gotten 2 of them out of the way. That's definitely a much faster clip, I think, compared to the work that we had on Hawk Sterling. But yeah, good work, everyone. Enjoy your evening, and I will see you all later. Bye.